Hi, this is Mark Killian here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This week I'm doing something a bit special. I'm on a trip around the island of Mallorca on a bicycle. Say hello to my bicycle. Yes, it's a camping trip. I might do an episode about that, even though it has nothing to do with music, but whatever. Right now, I am actually at a place that has a lot to do with music. This is a monastery in the village of Valldemossa, up in the hills, mountains really, of Mallorca on the west coast. And what is special about this place is that Chopin lived here for a winter. The winter of 1838 to 1839. He came here with his lover at the time, Georges Sand, a French novelist who had been introduced to Chopin only earlier that year by none other than Franz Liszt. And it is here where he wrote, or at least finished, his entire book of preludes. I'm standing in a room, and guess who lived in this room? This dude, Frederic Chopin, the Polish composer, mistaken often for a French composer, even though he lived in France. And guess what this dude did, in case you didn't know? This. Played the piano, by all accounts, extremely well. But more than that, he was one of the most amazing, if not the most amazing romantic composer for piano works that there is. This was Chopin's very own piano that he used in Paris. When they came here to Mallorca for the winter, he had the piano shipped here. It was on this piano where Chopin finished his preludes. He wrote a mazurka, a polonaise, his second ballade, and started his third scherzo. While here, a lot of it on this very piano. Chopin and Georges Sand probably sat here at this very fireplace, warming their feet in a cold winter. Perhaps arguing, perhaps making passionate love. Or not. Perhaps thinking about the next prelude he was going to write. So this is the Charterhouse in Viola, built in the 14th century, a church and monastery. It functioned as a monastery for a while, but then in the early 1800s, the Spanish government took it over, sold off the monastery and part of the land. This is where Chopin and Georges Sand came and stayed for the winter of 1838 and 1839. These are the passages of the Charterhouse, where Chopin and Georges Sand stayed. Originally built as a monastery, it was completely abandoned when they stayed here. They were the only people living here. Imagine that. It's beautiful, it's awesome, but also a bit cold. especially in the winter. So they had plenty of space there. 2 rooms. George's son had 2 of the kids with them, and they had servants, as one does. So I don't think it was a terrible time, just logistically speaking, for them. In the European scheme of things, this church is relatively young. Construction began in 1751. And I don't know that Chopin and George's son would have come here, as they were not exactly religious. Nevertheless, they might very well have sniffed around here for a second or two. And as much as 1751 is not that old a church, in the scheme of things, it's still fascinating to me. I'm not religious or anything, but churches fascinate me. They are basically museums, a window into a world. I'm nearing the top. Maybe another half an hour to go. And I'm on my lowest gear possible. Some of these climbs are pretty brutal. In fact, I haven't had a single downhill for the last 2.5 hours, maybe even 3 hours. Some of these climbs are... There's a reason why the guys who do the Tour de France come here to this very pass to train. And I'm sure glad I'm not trying this during the day. Who needs that stress? There's enough stress with this gradient. Quite cool up here, mountain cool. I'm still in my short sleeve shirt and my short cycling pants, but I'm sweating like a rum-basted pig in Cuba. And taking strain, but I fucking love it. This is totally brilliant. I wish you could see how beautiful this landscape is with the moon. I really need to get a camera that can do that. What's up with all the gold, dog? Okay, that shit is cheesy.